From Hester, we have with us today Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, CEO and Managing Director, and Mr. Chetas Patel, Chief Financial Officer. I will now hand over the call to the management for their opening comments, post which we can open the floor for Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rajiv Gandhi from Hester Biosciences. As always, nice being connected with all of you on this call on every quarter. We had our board meeting today, and a press note has also been released, which I have tried to be as elaborative within the press note so that there is a lot of information that is already passed on. Nonetheless, as a recap, I would like to go through the working of Q3 as well as the 9-month at Hester. Talking about sales on a quarter-to-quarter basis, we achieved 52.82 crores, thereby showing a growth of 22% against the corresponding Q3 of last year. On a 9-monthly basis, we did a turnover of 145 crores as against 127.99, giving us a growth of 14%. In terms of net profit, we have done reasonably well as far as Q3 is concerned. There has been a rise of 72% on a quarter-to-quarter basis. Q3 FY21, we achieved 13.29 crores as against 7.73 crores. On a 9-month annual basis, the growth has been 18%. We achieved 31.04 in cumulatively for the 3 quarters as against 26.22 as what it was last year. As you are aware, we have 2 divisions. One is the Poultry Healthcare Division and other is the Animal Healthcare Division. The Poultry Healthcare Division on a quarter-to-quarter grew 32%. From 30.02 in FY20 to 39.61 in this financial year. On the Animal Healthcare Division side, Animal Healthcare Division products include cattle, sheep, goat and swine products. We registered a 4% growth from 9.48 to 9.90. Would like to mention over here on the 4% growth is that on the corresponding quarter last year, we had a very big tender business, government supply business, which was not there at this point in this quarter, and therefore the growth seems very negligible and it gives a little bit of a distorted growth rate. But if you look at the 9-monthly, the 3-quarter cumulatively, we have grown 19% from 25.88 to 30.83. So this has been the overall growth as far as we are concerned in terms of our division, in terms of our sales and our net profit. There has also been an improvement in the gross profit margins on the EBITDA, the net profit margin as well as on the EPS. Talking subjectively on performance, other parameters, we have the 2 divisions, but within the 2 divisions, we have 2 subgroups, that is the vaccines and the health products. Vaccines, if you talk about both the poultry and the animal divisions, both put together, we registered a 20% growth on a quarter-to-quarter basis and 12% growth on a 9-monthly basis. On the health product side, we registered a growth of 48% on a quarter-to-quarter, while 31% on a 9-monthly comparison. In terms of our geographical coverage, the domestic sales grew by 43% on a quarter-to-quarter, 20% on a 9-monthly comparison, but our exports reduced considerably by 51% in the quarter 3 and 5% totally if you take the 9 months. Now this has happened because the demand of our products within India has shot up tremendously, and therefore what we did was to make sure that the demand in the country is met. More so, there have been many restrictions in exporting material from one country to the other. So all that led to us focusing on the domestic market, in which we have done reasonably well. Since the last two calls, you would have heard me talking about the Brucella tender. There was a tender, then it got cancelled, then there was a re-tender. We have already put in the bid. The bids have been opened. Hopefully by March, the supplies under that tender for the Brucella vaccine should commence. Last but not the least, on the current situation, on the overview in the last 9 months or the last 3 months, you all would have read quite a bit on the bird flu that has been coming in the news. Hester had even sent a press note, I think on the 21st of December, in which we had clearly stated that our sales have not been impacted by bird flu. And in fact, we have been able to register a growth even in these days. We have a strong team. We have a strong product in terms of health products, all other vaccines. So if a poultry farmer is used to a regime of using proper vaccines of which are currently available, using good feed additives, health products, having a good sanitization program, it has definitely helped them even in this bird flu time situation, and that has therefore not impacted on our sales. Taking things further from here, what next? Last time, as committed to set up a division for herbal products, in this quarter before the year end, we would be introducing a reasonable wide range of herbal products, and probably when we talk again, I would be able to give you some feedback on how many products we have launched, etc. on the herbal product side. The vaccine, because of the current situation wherein there is a lot of demand within India for our vaccines also, we have embarked on an expansion plan. We want to increase our vaccine capacity and hope to finalize these expansion plans within a month's time, and we would then start the implementation of these expansion plans as far as vaccines are concerned. And there has been quite a bit of a demand within India, as well as we see the Brucella vaccine, the LSD vaccine. All these things put together are definitely making us look that suddenly there has been a sudden big rise in the demand for vaccines within India as well as internationally. Till such time our capacity increases, we will internally, as any case what we had decided earlier, we will push our healthcare products, the non-vaccine products, which now also would include the herbal products. And as you have seen, there has been a sizable growth even in our health product business. So we will try to grow the business in that manner, try to squeeze out as much as what we can out of the current facility in terms of vaccine production. And this is the way that we would take our business forward. As you all may be aware, it's been quite a few years that we have been trying to look at expanding the business by acquiring a company, maybe on the manufacturing side, maybe on the distribution side. We had earlier twice taken permission from the board to raise finances. In considering that permission had lapsed, we have taken the permission again, but we are near to being close to choosing at least one option for manufacturing and one option in the distribution side, and we are very seriously looking at it. So hopefully if things go well, we could put ourselves on an extremely high expansion growth, which would even cover and I'm talking both these opportunities internationally. So we are looking forward that we can just get onto a higher orbit if any of these things materialize. And to take care of this, we have taken the board's permission to raise finances up to Indian rupees 200 crores. Last but not the least, to give you an update on the COVID-19 vaccine which we are developing in collaboration with IIT Guwahati. The process has been slow at this point of time. IIT Guwahati's team is working hard to develop the master seed. As soon as we get a breakthrough in that, we would take over the master seed, do the animal trials, and then take the whole project further. We have our hands, we are keeping our fingers crossed. I'm sure we would see some light at the end of the tunnel within a short time. So that gives an overview as far as Hester India is concerned. Hester Nepal, we have tried to keep the sales as much as last year, though this year we had many high plans, aspirations to take this Hester Nepal to an extremely new height. But unfortunately, because of the COVID, things just could not happen. And in Nepal, the lockdown impact was higher because it is landlocked. Of course, our vaccines go by air, but there have been a lot of difficulties in even shipping out the vaccines from Nepal. Things are now getting back to normalcy. Hopefully, that should help us to take things further. Texas Life Science, our company which manufactures health products for us. As you can see, there has been a growth in the sales as well as if you look at it on the profit side, there has been a little bit of a dip on the profit side because there have, in these shortage times, transportation times, there have been quite a few problems in terms of getting raw material at the right price, paying more to get them, transporting them, etc. But having said all these things, 95 to 98% what is produced in Texas comes to Hester, and the bottom line of Hester is anyway now known to you. So somewhere or the other you have seen that we have made up for this. Nonetheless, having said that, we are very conscious to ensure that the bottom line at Texas Life Sciences definitely goes up than what it is at this point of time. Hester Tanzania, our trading arm in Africa, in the country of Tanzania, it has been going a little bit slow over there. There has been a marginal rise. It's not that it is not there, but nonetheless, things have not been so active. Things have taken a longer time to reach there. Things have not even reached there once they have been delivered. There have been high transportation costs, etc. So there has been a little bit of a turbulence, but it's a small venture. It's a small investment which we are aiming to make it big. So if you really go to see, it's not any consequential at this point of time. Nonetheless, in days to come, we hope to make it fully as part of our whole thing and a big contributing entity for us in Africa. Last but not the least, Hester Africa. Things are moving over there. The lockdown impact and the disease impact have been different in the country of Tanzania as against what it has been in India or anywhere else in the world. In India and most of the other countries, from March 2020, there had been a lockdown situation which went all the way up to June, July. In some cases, currently there is a lockdown, there is an international embargo, there is a domestic lockdown. Tanzania was relatively free in all that period, but now it seems that in the African continent there have been instances of COVID, etc. So there, earlier we would not be able to reach there. Now when we can reach there, it happens that though we are very confident that there is nothing in Dar es Salaam that has impacted us, we have our senior people there. In fact, I myself was there around 3 weeks ago. But ultimately, we need people to go and work there and do the installation, etc., and of which also 80% is done. But at the end, it's not within us to force somebody to go there immediately. There is a regular coaxing, convincing being done, and people are going there. Therefore, our production first commercial batch to be taken has got delayed. We now hope to do it in the month of May or June. So if you really look at the timeline, earlier we were talking in the first quarter, in the first month of January, it has moved. So this has moved 6 months in a way, though internally we had even tried to prepone that January commencement to even in the last few months of 2020, but that did not happen. January did not happen. We have reasons to believe that our confidence will not be shattered now that we have given the date of May or June. Everywhere on record, I have maintained June 2021. Nonetheless, we'll try our best to make sure that we do it a little bit faster than that. So that's all from my side. I am now open to take questions myself as well as our CFO Chetas. Both are here and we would be happy to answer any queries and questions. Over to all of you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Ketan Gandhi from Dhanki Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Sir, do we have any vaccine for currently things in India, bird flu vaccine?
No.
Okay. Sir, can you please share the technology transfer update on Novafarm in Egypt and when we will be able to get the income from that?
We have already been in our last quarters. You would have seen an income as other income also. So part of it is in bits and pieces the technology transfer amounts that we are getting. It's an ongoing process. The whole project should get over in approximately 1.5 to 2 years time, and a lot also depends upon their speed on how they would be handling it. So there. We are going as per our commitment, but we have to honor and we have to go with their timeline rather than our timeline.
Fair enough. Sir, it's a bookkeeping question. Consolidated debt and cash. And another question is linked with that only, that if debt is currently very low cost, and why you are thinking of diluting equity for the capex?
Okay, so should he answer the first part and then I will answer?
Yes, so towards the capex part, yes, we are quite now enjoying our financial position. It is increasing well. So that's why our debt ratio and it is comparatively reducing now, and we are now have much cash balance with us.
No. So I want consolidated debt and the cash.
Sorry?
I want the figure of the consolidated debt and what net cash.
Consolidated figure of the debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is their part of the consolidation. It is 114 crores.
Sorry?
114 crores consolidated.
Consolidated debt is 114 crore.
Yes.
Okay. And my another question, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Why are funding it with the equity rather than debt? What is the thought process?
There is the thought process is that we want to take a jump, which is we see 1 or 2 good opportunities, and this is the way we have completely planned ourselves to take it further. I mean, in a way, you can always say that debt is always cheaper finance in a way because there is a fixed rate of interest and reducing, etc., equity. But there is also something like debt equity ratio. There is also something like, how do we take the project ahead? Has to be a balancing between debt and equity. It's not just, it would be very easy to say take debt 200 crores and do the project. But things don't happen that way, that easily.
All right. And sir, how has been the working capital days in December 2020 versus December 2019 and March 20?
There has been a sizable improvement. I don't have the figure with me, unfortunately, but there has been a sizable improvement. I can assure you on that.
Okay. And going forward also, there will be improvement for next 12 months?
I think going forward also we could continue the current. We would have already reached, as I don't have the figures, I'm not really exactly able to tell you the number of days, but what we have reached by now in the current situation with the demand of our products, etc., I think even maintaining the current credit period would be good enough for us, to be very honest. We are already better than what we were even in the pre-COVID days.
All right, sir. Thank you. I have some more questions. I'll join back in the queue, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one now. The next question is from the line of Viraj Mahadevia, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rajiv Bhai. Congratulations on getting back on the growth path.
Thank you.
I had a couple of questions, Rajiv Bhai. One is, you've created all these capacities with the expectation of tender business coming, which unfortunately has not fructified and has been delayed. Is it not possible to divert some of those capacities to some of the newer opportunities you're seeing, i.e., are some of not your existing capacities fungible so you don't need to make more investment?
Tender business has been more looked at from Nepal, and in India this is the first time that we are so aggressively looking at tender business, that is Brucella. The tender is out, the quantities have been decided, everything. So in a way, if the tender goes through, which I have reasons to believe it will go through, and the purchasing will start and the immunization program will start, then if that happens as per the document that has already been given to the people who have bid for the tender, I see no reason in worrying as far as that is concerned. Another thing, different vaccines need a different type of production capability, different type of setup. So it is just not possible to have a room and today make vaccine A, tomorrow change a few things here and there and make vaccine B. That's not possible as far as biologicals is concerned.
Understood. My next question is, you mentioned in your note that you're looking to divert some of the overseas supplies to the domestic market because demand has become so big.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Because inherently I would think that export orders are better pricing and profitability. And what has suddenly changed in the domestic market that the opportunity has become so big?
The opportunity has become big in the domestic market, and our profitability is more or less the same while we are exporting and what we are getting over here. So our logic is, here we have something already sizable. So might as well fulfill that rather than get into a splinter business at 10 places where each supply in the big scheme of things is inconsequential, but all that put together within India makes a extremely big impact on our top line.
Okay.
To give you an example, if we are supplying $50,000 in one country, 95,000 in one, 100,000 in three, 35,000 in one. In case rather than that, there is a $200,000 order extra coming from India in itself at this point of time when there is a need of products over here. might as well. To us to recover that opportunity would be difficult over here, while in those countries, as our business is small, it would be relatively easier for us to recover those opportunities.
Understood. Can you outline your capex plans for current quarter and FY22, the new financial year, and share any updates on capacity expansion split between Brucella, LSD, COVID-19, if at all, and others such as FMD?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, that in the next few weeks we would be finalizing the plan. Now, there are a few avenues we have. We are at a crossroad where we need to take a decision. So it would be more appropriate for us to give a consolidated statement with all the avenues already exhausted and the avenue taken, and then come to you and then take it further. So today, to give you some information in bits and pieces, one way we are taking 200 crores. We already have a firm plan to put in some 30, 40, 50 crores. Another 150 crores we will put in. Let me come together with everything rather than talk in bits and pieces.
Understood. And last is, what is the pending capex in Tanzania?
Pending capex in? Around 10% is left. So out of 4 million, so 400,000. How much? Yeah, around less than 5 crores.
Okay, and is that to fund the project cost increase due to the delay, or?
No, I am talking about our the allocated budget. There is no overrun in the project, for your information.
Okay, great. All the best.
Even with this time delay, there is not a single dollar of overrun in the Tanzania Hester Africa project. You might have seen the photograph in the press note, Viraj, today.
I did. Thank you very much. All the best. I'll get back in queue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Ravi Naredi from Naredi Investment. Please go ahead.
Hello, Rajiv Gandhi ji. How are you?
All good. Thank you, Saib.
Okay. Sir, anything will you want to say for financial year 22 projection, either in top line or anything?
We have certain thoughts, ideas in mind, and to give it will be more than what we think we have planned. That much I can tell you. Otherwise, we would not be looking at taking money. We would not be looking at projects. I would not make a blatant statement that in the next few weeks we will come back to you with our plans, etc. Give us some time.
Okay.
I mean, to give you very crudely, we have been growing at a good percentage, 5, 10, 15, 20. The time has now come for us to do something big.
Okay. That is very nice. And sir, when Africa project starts?
Sorry, please repeat.
Your Africa project, when will the production will start, and it will contribute to? May, June 21, right?
21, yes.
Okay. And sir, what is the COVID vaccine plan? Anything you have make past statement? Anything progressing well?
It is not progressing at what we had thought. So that is the fact. My press note also mentions a line that we are still working on it.
Okay. All the best, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Gandhi, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Rajiv Bhai. Congratulations.
Hello.
On good set of
Thank
numbers.
you.
And Rajiv Bhai, I have been always appreciative about your growth mindset. So my first question is, as we are choosing to temporarily produce more in India rather than going for export, so what has happened in a short time? Is it a demand is unprecedented which we didn't thought of, or is the capacity constraint from competitors also playing part? Or the third thing, is the Brucella you are seeing
more demand in what you had thought about?
To answer your question in reverse, not even one vial of Brucella has gone in the tender, so everything is yet to come. Opportunity number one. Answer your second last question. The manufacturing constraint of competitors, I am not aware of the competitors' manufacturing constraint, so I would not be able to comment on that. Answering your first question now, is there has been reasonable good. If you recollect, last to last year, we had increased our marketing force and everything. Probably all this is leading to us gaining more and more demand and increasing the thrust, etc. But the bottom line is that there has been a good demand for our products, and things are looking good for us. So, I mean, that's my answer. It's very easy to say that, we created demand, we displaced competition. But those answers would not be really comforting answers to give you. The fact is that we have been putting in efforts and we are getting the business right now.
Right. No, it is nice to hear. So this is not a short term, but this is you see the long-term trend of what your efforts in last 2 years, increasing your salesperson and everything. That's good.
Yes, I think so. We are definitely, we restructured a few things, and all this is helping us towards that.
Yeah, and Rajiv bhai, just one more question. Actually, I had asked, I think 2 years back also on AGM or something. So I always appreciate and the new things, new opportunity you always look for, and always a growth mindset. But so how you think about, because as we have a big opportunity in Brucella, we have many things to do in Nepal, and we have a huge capacity coming in Tanzania. And still you are, and of course the new manufacturing you are looking at India. Still you are looking at another opportunities in international market for acquiring, manufacturing. I just want the thought process and about everything. How you think as an entrepreneur.
Okay. No, your question is very good, very valid. First of all, expansion in India is for products that are to be used in India and certain products which can be exported from the Indian plant. The expansion in Africa currently that we are doing is specifically for the African-specific animal diseases. And the third, what about our expansion plans? Our expansion plans, wherever we do, whether it is Africa, which we are trying to do, we are looking at setting up or acquiring a good distribution network, and or if we go into manufacturing, acquiring or setting up to manufacture something on the health product side. So that is something which was never covered in any of our earlier plans, and now that is being incorporated into those things. And the asset, the turnover to asset ratio in health products is far more better than what it is in vaccines in terms of sales to assets. So we have reasons to believe that assets now created on the animal health side would churn out much more higher turnover than what it would by putting as much money in a vaccine plant.
Right. No, thank you so much, Rajiv bhai, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of MJ from Gormal One. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Rajiv. Congrats on very successfully getting everything together. I just wanted to understand on your marketing team expansion plan. When do you think you will go for the next round of marketing team expansion in India and in your export markets?
Exports, first of all, Manish, you changed your name from Manish Jain to MJ, I heard. So anyway, any reason for that change?
I myself as Manish only, they changed it.
Okay. So, as far as the next round of people that we need to hire now over here, we are looking at taking up more people after, say, from the first quarter of the next financial year. Nothing to do expansion in terms of marketing in this quarter because things are moving okay. And we always need to have a mix between getting more people, getting more sale, but at the same time improving the efficiency also and counting on the sales per salesperson. So that is an important thing over here as far as India is concerned. As far as international Africa is concerned, we hope to start creating the whole distribution marketing network probably mid first quarter next year or towards the end of the first quarter, and that is how we would take it further. We would do it, say, around 5 to 6 months from now, as far as Africa is concerned. The reason being we have delayed this in Africa is that production in a vaccine plant, it cannot happen that today we switch it on, today is the inauguration and here there are millions of dollar vaccines worth available. It's a slow process. So while the production would build up, our marketing team would build up, and while the marketing team is not there but the production is there, we can always sell it through distributors and take it further.
Perfect. And just one housekeeping question. Someone asked earlier, your gross debt is 114 crores. How much is the gross cash?
Gross cash kitna hai bhai? I don't have that figure right now in front of me. I would not mind sharing that with you, Manish, offline.
Yeah, we'll take it later.
Only tell you and not others, but I don't have that right now with me.
No issues. I'll join back with you, but best wishes for your aggressive expansion plans.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kishore B, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rajesh sir, and congratulations on a good set of numbers. And I just have a question, like maybe your thoughts on this. Like, any plans on expanding into the vaccines for pets, like dogs and all?
We have a desire since a long time to get into those vaccines as well as into foot and mouth disease vaccines. But we are very clear, if we get into pet vaccines, we would like to tie up with some international company for international marketing. The pet market size is very small in India as compared to what it is internationally. If you really do a survey in United States, there is more sales through the pet market rather than through the organized poultry or the cattle, sheep, goat, swine. But that is not so in India. In India, it is minuscule. So we want to get into it, but we will do it at an appropriate time if we get some international hand-holding as far as pets is concerned. And what was your second question?
No, this is my first question. And since like we have like setting up plans in US and Africa, since we have a good market for pets there as well, I wish to see.
Yeah, I have never mentioned we are setting up anything in the United States. So that's not the idea that we are looking at this point of time.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Viraj Mahadevia, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Rajiv bhai, nothing else at my end. My questions have been answered for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Viraj.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Kanodia from Smart Sync Service. Please go ahead.
Really good set of numbers, and I would also like to thank you for sharing the detailed note, and would request you to continue with this tradition in the future quarters as well. And that really helps to understand. Most of the questions have been answered. I just wanted your view on what is our basically long-term vision and strategy for our company? So as we are aggressively looking for expansion in different markets, in different segments as well. So how do we see our company for broad vision, if you can say 3 years or 5 years down the line, maybe 2025? How do we look at it? And what are the key risks to our vision? What can go wrong? What are your thoughts? If you can give some color, that would really help us to take a long-term view.
Okay.
Thank you.
First, thank you for complimenting me for the press note. I think last 2-3 times we have been giving more in detail, but since the time I know, we have always been trying to give as much information as possible through the press note, because whether I give it in the press note or somebody finds from the balance sheet, ultimately everything is anyway in public domain. Might as well give it so that most of the questions get answered through the press note or through the releases. Coming to vision, animal health business is a good business, growing business all across the world. In India, if you look at it, poultry is reasonably consolidated, growing at around 8, 10, 12%. Cattle farming, dairies, etc. We see a metamorphical change in India in the next 5 to 10 years, wherein a scattered backyard population of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 cows would get consolidated into big dairy farms, wherein you have hundreds of cattle giving milk, etc. So this is something which we are looking forward ourselves in India, which will make our business grow probably 5-10-fold, even if a little change happens in that the whole characteristic of the dairy industry. Sheep goat farming is also now picking up. There are people who are getting into organized sheep and goat. Till 5 years ago, there was hardly any sheep or goat available. If you go to see, we have started goat pox vaccine. We are the first people in the country to manufacture the goat pox vaccine. There is still no second person who is manufacturing. Lumpy skin disease is again another disease that is coming up. For vaccines, a disease means an opportunity, but overall, I don't see it at that, and I don't even mean that if there is disease, it's better for us. But overall, animal health industry is going to restructure itself further in the large animal segment. Restructuring in itself, even without much increase in population, it is going to give a very big business to not only us, to all animal health companies. We are looking at other geographies like Africa, which is a continent where things are even much more scattered over there than what it is in India. In fact, poultry farms are even immensely scattered, what they were more than 25, 30 years ago over here. So we are looking at such economies where the growth potential is very high. On the flip side, you might say, or it might be termed as a risk, that we are looking at areas which are risky, and how would we mitigate those risks, etc. To that, my answer is that risk mitigation is also a process which is evolving. I do not have a risk mitigation plan today on how will I mitigate risk in the next 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years in the African continent, whether there is a political problem, whether there is a social problem, whether there is a bird animal population disease problem, etc. So the risks are, there could be sometimes diseases which create a massive problem. There could be, we are looking at developing economies, so the problems in any developing economy could come on us, but these are macro problems that we have. And as the world is in itself becoming more enlightened, with people having all information all over the globe, everywhere, however rural you are, I think all these things will help us mitigate our risk and take our business further, and at some point of time we are looking at a up geometrical progression, spiraling growth, and hopefully we should be doing far more in terms of top line and bottom line in the next 2-3 years from now.
Thank you so much for your detailed answer. Just a follow-up, sir. Just as we had a very good association with Bill Gates Foundation in terms of our African business, so don't you think if we can have a similar sort of association even in our domestic business that takes care or mitigates some of our political related risk, because when such a big organization is with us, we somehow get that kind of a confidence that some sort of political risk can be mitigated. What is your view on that?
Yeah, my view on that, you're talking in India, right?
Yes.
I personally feel that India as a country, the way it is going, the way there is progress, I think political risk is the least of the worries, I think, at this point of time in our country, and things are looking upward. So that risk, I personally feel that we don't need any mitigation to any political risk. As far as the Gates Foundation is concerned, here the role that they can play with us is very small, they have got a big office, they are doing a lot of great, fantastic work, but it should also be within their objectives to do certain things in certain geographies, in certain countries. So it might not match between their objectives and our objectives of doing things over here. So I think, and the banks in India are there to give us money. The system is quite robust over here. So I don't think really we need an international institute, however big it is, to help us search for us business in this country.
Okay. And what about the competitive intensity, given that the market is going to expand as per your understanding in the next 4-5 years?
I'm sure there will be more competition that will be coming in days to come. And this is part of the churning process. There will be more competitors. There will be something new again happening. There will be something bigger demand happening, busy shift. So, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ तो होते ही रहेगा और चलते रहेगा. To pinpoint all these things is extremely difficult. Certain things you just have to move on. Not that we do it in a rash manner, but we move on with a sort of a clear consolidation and take things as they come while we move.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate your detailed answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of VP Rajesh from Banyan Capital. Please go ahead.
All the extension plans you have. Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. So my question was that given all the expansion plans you have, what do you think the revenue and margins will look like in 5 years?
As far as our margins are concerned, if we can keep these margins or a little bit higher margins at a bigger turnover of 400, 500, 600 crores, nothing like it. And in terms of other geographies, like if you have seen, even in a small turnover, we did reach a break-even analysis at our plant in Hester. Likewise, gross margins being good as what they are, I do not see any difficulty as far as maintaining margins is concerned. The whole challenge is how do we take the whole thing further once the plant starts, registration in different countries, etc., etc. So I don't think margin is an issue as far as we are concerned. Plus we are doing business in such geographies where in any case the margins are higher.
Right. That's helpful. I'm sorry, I didn't get the revenue growth that you can be at in 5 years.
The revenue within 5 years from this point of time, if you take a simple 25% growth on a year-on-year basis, and if we are talking of a 5-year. We are anyway talking of getting more than double, but we are getting into an expansion mode. We will get Hester Africa into it, so it should be substantially more than that. I'm not able to give a figure, neither am I avoiding to give a figure, but let's leave it to the way it grows. There are all signs which show that we are growing fast.
Right. And how are you organizationally set up to grow like this? Because obviously you are getting into a hyper growth phase. So if you can just comment on how organizationally you are set up for it.
We have built this organization in the last 20-22 years. We have reasonable stability in our organization. But as you grow fast, you need more and more people. There is always a challenge to get the right type of people, to get the right type of job done. So those challenges as much remain with us as what it would be with any other company anywhere. And we just have to move forward and keep the selection process on all the time and get the right people for it. I think that's the only thing. There is nothing really more than that.
Okay. And just a housekeeping question. I think your press note is fantastic. Thank you for sharing such detailed comments. I just could not make out what is the percentage revenue from versus the other products. You have given the growth, but what is the percentage of
your voice has come muffled. Can you repeat the question?
Sorry, my question was that what is the percentage of revenue from vaccines in the current quarter versus the rest of the products?
1 minute. Vaccine percentage, what is it? 69. The vaccine. 75% vaccines.
75%. Okay. And do you think this mix will change in 5 years? How will it change?
It has to change. Health products should become substantially bigger than vaccines in years to come, for sure.
Right. But any guidance on the percentage side?
Well, we took a big team last year. We wanted both to become equal by this year. It has not happened. So, but I am sure in the next 2 years there will be a diametrical shift. If you go to see till 2 years ago, we are 90% on vaccines and only 10% on health products. Now it is come down to around in the 70s. So slowly that shift is happening.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Gupta from Solidarity. Please go ahead.
Rajiv bhai, just want to again express appreciation for the detail that you are providing in the press release, and just a request, if you can also attach the balance sheet when you are providing this press release. I think it will save a lot of questions and also provide a little bit more transparency.
Just a minute. Can you, just a minute, which balance sheet? Yeah, balance sheet we have on half-yearly basis, as what my CFO is just speaking to me, and I just repeated what he told me. So, if offline you can tell me what exactly you think could help us to have more clarity in a press note without really distorting the norms of declarations and publishing, we are more than happy to do it.
Yes. So, Rajiv bhai, I mean, the norms is that the balance sheet is declared 6 months and full year. But, there are a lot of companies who publish balance sheet every quarter. And now, given that we are growing at a rapid pace and because, you provide so much of transparency, I'm just saying it will help all the investors rather than asking, like people ask you questions on gross debt. You answered the question on gross debt. So, you are sharing all the information. If you publish it on the balance sheet, then nobody will have to ask you questions on working capital, gross debt.
I think it is, yes, I have understood. Yeah, it is a good idea. I have understood that. Let me see another difficulty we have when we have to do consolidation between 4, 5, 6 companies, those small. It becomes a little bit of a difficult proposition for us to do that. Having said that, it's an extremely valid point, and I think we should get into it.
Thank you so much, Rajiv Bhai.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Apurva Mehta from EM Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rajiv Bhai. Congratulations on excellent numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that, this big expansion which you are, obviously trying to do, what will be the payback period, ballpark, what we have just envisaged that, we'll have 2-year, 3-year, 4-year payback period kind of thing, or you must have something in your mind, before going to a big expansion,
We are working on 1 or 2 options to give you a payback period at this point of time. Apurva bhai, it would be like, me giving you a offhand figure on the payback period of time and etc. I think we all know what the ideal situation is. Let us work on it, and then once a project is ready, that anyway we would have to make a payback period. So we will do it. Right now,
okay.
I am not able to really give you an answer, neither am I avoiding to answer. It's just that I don't know that myself.
Yes, okay. And another thing, this majority, what the, transformation of a company from a vaccine company to a mix of animal health and vaccine. So this capex will be more towards the animal healthcare towards?
What happens is that even if capital expenditure is made equal on the vaccine and the health product side, but the turnover churned out for the health product from that investment would be far more than the turnover churned out from the vaccine. So, but still we need vaccines which are also growing. When all our plans and when we are talking of distribution, increasing our distribution network, there it's all together. It's a trading entity, distribution, marketing entity. So then there, the whole calculations are different as against when we invest in a manufacturing.
So more toward the animal side, not toward the poultry side, definitely.
Ultimately, yes, our animal health division has to grow much more than faster than what our poultry division is growing at this point of time. And in both the division, the health product should be doing much more than the vaccines in days to come on a percentage basis, because the health product percentage is small at this point of time.
Okay. And today, what utilization must be having on the vaccine side? We must be utilizing on maybe 80-90% of the vaccine capacity?
Yes. I think what you mentioned is perfectly. I would have answered the same.
Okay. Thanks a lot, and wish you all the best for this big expansion.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as this was the last question for today, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you all for this 1 hour call in hearing me patiently. I hope I've been able to answer your questions, if not all, most of them. Our endeavor is always to answer as much as what we can. Certain times we are not able to answer, not because we don't want to, but because I myself do not have that information. When I'm sitting on my table and something is asked, I may not have that information. But be rest assured, our endeavor is to be as transparent and open. Some of the suggestions even given today, I would love to implement that, like in terms of quarterly balance sheet, etc. Those are very challenging desires, but nonetheless, I think we should try to work towards that. We all, myself, our team, our CFO, production, marketing team, all are working hard towards taking Hester Biosciences to the next level, and it's all your questions which also, when you ask questions, when we make notes while answering to you, it also gives us a lot of introspection. It also gives us ideas on what to do, certain things which we would have never thought. We suddenly get a spark. So this interaction helps me personally, it helps the company, and that makes me very happy to talk to all of you on every quarterly basis. And So I think that's about it from my side. Thank you all, and hope to see you next time in the next quarter.